All right, on the bench today is a Sony X75. This is a part of the trifecta of bad decision making when I bought 3 turntables in just a couple hours off of eBay, again unsupervised. So anyway, all right. So, but actually the other two I got working pretty quickly, like within an hour. So I'm kind of hoping this is the same way. Now the seller did post a video of this working, and before I bought it, I watched the video and it seemed like it was working fine. This has replacement feet. The table's not level, so I need to figure out what's going on with the replacement feet on this, and I may just grab some isolation pods or something and put them on this because it leans this way. So naturally, when I turn this on, what do you suppose happens? Nothing. Nothing, 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 nothing. Nothing at all. Turn it on. Now, the weird thing is, the motor wants to, the arm motor does want to pull the arm back and forward. So, and again, the seller sold this as parts are not working. I'm really not, worried about that at this point in time. This is a little bit more dinged up than I think they represented in the listing, but it's my bad for not looking at the pics a little more closely. So anyway, what I'm going to do, and with this series, I'm going to try to break it up into small chunks. I don't want to do another video like the X75. Well, you know what? I thought I had, I don't know what it is with these. So it's locked in there. Oh, so here's if you watch the X65 video, you'll notice sometimes the slip mat was not aligned. Now my assumption would be when I rotate this, it'll lock into the position where the prism lenses are over the cutouts, like right now, right? But what's deceptive is it'll lock in one. If you get this just right, it will lock to where they're not aligned. So right now they're not aligned. So I noticed on my other video, because I would grab the platter off of my truck and I would just put this on and I would, make sure it clicked. I didn't realize that this wasn't aligned. So that could be the problem I'm having right now. See, so right now it should lock because it's over the prisms, but I guess there are these two little protrusions, so you've got to make sure those are lined up, and you can align it to where it's crooked. So hopefully that was the problem right now. Let's see. No, because I think even if that was misaligned, it would at least start the motor, but this is not doing anything. Okay, so what I'm going to start off by doing on this is, and I will put this in the first segment. This thing is disgustingly dirty. I'm going to flip this over, take the bottom off. Stylus was trashed. That's kind of going in the wrong direction there. So I'm going to flip this over, take the bottom off, and then look at some of the basics. And I'll kind of talk to you about what I'm going to try to do to at least get this to start working a little bit. But my goal with this was to completely redo it. So I will have a segment on recapping new LEDs. I plan on putting new LEDs in here after the lesson I learned on the X65. So anyway, I'm going to try to keep these segments pretty short. So with this one, I'm hoping to get this into some type of working condition before I go and start doing the recap. We'll see if that works. So I got to show you the handiwork on these feet. I don't know what was being attempted here, but we've got some crazy stuff going on here. Pieces of plastic screwed in here. I don't know if this is original to this turntable or not, but Screwed in with like wood screws. That's interesting. So that's going to be an interesting repair here. I don't even understand what this is doing right here. Weird. Gosh, you're better off just selling this without doing any more damage to it. And, I mean, that's just horrible. I don't know what you're trying to do here. I mean, I know what you're trying to do, but come on. And this one could be glued into position. Oh my goodness. Okay, well anyway, I'm going to finish taking this apart. So this is going back to the seller. There's so much damage that was not disclosed. They said the feet were replaced, but it sits level. It doesn't even come close to sitting level. See this foot? Just comes right off. Plastic, random plastic piece holding that on. Screws missing all over the place. They said it was clean, it worked, it doesn't work. Obviously my video showed it not working. Says there are some dings and scratches. This thing is all scratched up. I mean, there's damage to every single button, every single switch. Yeah, this is going back. I mean, what? I don't even understand that. And how can you say the feet were replaced, but it sits evenly? And it obviously doesn't. Like, to point out that it sits evenly, it's kind of like, I don't think you really looked at it. So, anyway, I've submitted a return request because this was just kind of a shady deal. So, anyway, we'll see what happens with that. But this is going to go back into the package. Oh, and then it had a new stylus. But I showed you what happened to the stylus because I don't know where it went. They didn't package it right. And it says new stylus. Huh. You see lots of dust, dirt, and debris where that... they said they bought a new head shell, but then they said new stylus. Well, it doesn't do me any good when you don't ship it right. And then, again, look at the condition of that stylus. It's dirty. I mean, that's not a new stylus. Look at all the corrosion or the oxidation. So sketchy seller. Just super sketchy. So anyway, we'll see what happens with this. I'm gonna have to work on another project. Although, yeah, I got a couple things to work on today. So we'll see what happens with this. Well, as you can see, I'm back to the Sony. I got a hold of the seller and we had a conversation about the repaired feet, which obviously weren't really repaired, and the operational status of the turntable. And so after a little bit of back and forth, I agreed to a partial refund. I actually have a plinth coming. There just happened to be a plinth for sale on eBay. So I've got one coming that I don't know if I'm going to transplant all of the innards into the new plinth or not. So I don't exactly know what I'm going to do, but the plinth has the metal brackets that are missing on this one. So I could, in theory, repair the supports for the feet and then maybe find some new feet later on. So let's see what this thing is doing. I'm going to try to power this on with the arm off just to see if it does anything. And it comes back, but it's still not... Oh, there... Oh, okay. Oh, we've seen this before. And this has no stylus on it, or the stylus is broken. So, no, last time this didn't do anything. So that's a good sign. And again, I think this might be the reset procedures that people have talked about online. Like you power it on, the arm. Maybe not. I mean, you just saw what happened. And now Now nothing. Interesting. Oh. Turntable wanted to spin backwards. Give it a minute. My heater's running. It's a little cool in the garage today. Come on. Find where you're at. You were just working. Alright. Well, I think what I'm going to do today is... I think I mentioned last time kind of what my strategy was going to be. I think what I'd like to do today is probably recap this. You know, it's one of those things where do I try to get it working first? Do I just recap it? And I think I'm gonna opt to recap it. And at least with good capacitors in here, maybe it'll be easier to kind of work out some of the bugs, figure out what's going on. I just don't think in this, assuming nothing's been done, and I'm pretty sure nothing ever has been done to this, starting out with fresh caps would probably be a good first step. A little bit of fuzz on that sensor there. You want to be careful with these sensors. There's some fuzz there. So what I'm going to do is flip this over, take the bottom off, and jump into the recap. And if there's anything to share as I'm recapping the board, I will do so. I'll probably speed through it, so you can kind of see what recapping this involves. If I remember correctly, on my 65, it wasn't a horrible job. So, oh, and I also have LEDs. I'm going to replace the LEDs too. I may separate this into a couple of different segments though. So let me get all my stuff ready and flip this over and get started.